Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this great wide world of ours. I wanted to do a brief video, and the thing I wanted to do about the video was concerning about, and I'm a big believer in this. This is one of my theories, but I also believe there's a couple other ones that are believe in this theory as well. That your personality is the sum of the closest five people to you, excluding family. Some people will say with family, but I don't include family because they're birthright. In other words, they're part of that connection. They're part of your. There's no way that well, there is a way, but there is a point where they're part of your life because the birthright, or you're being born into the family. But my contention is that you're the sum of the five closest people, whether they are work or social or whatever. And those five people are, even if, say, for instance, you find somebody and you marry that person, they're included in that because they're not into that birthright. But the point is, you are the five. Your personality is the five sum of those people. So I have a tendency when people talk to me and they say, "Well, I can't get out of this rut," or "I'm smoking and I can't stop smoking," and then I start probing and asking probing questions, and I say, "Well, does your significant other smoke?" Yes. Does your closest friend smoke? Yes. I said, well, there's part of the issue there. If you want to quit smoking, I'm not saying you've got to alleviate that situation, but you have to take into account that situation that those people are within your stereotype. For instance, someone reached out to me concerning that their family member married somebody that was a heavy drinker, and I then said, "Is that other person that in your family or who they married, are they a heavy drinker?" And I said yes, and I said, "Well, there again, your personality attracts those type of people, and then when you're into that, I always call things either an inner circle. An inner circle is the closest people, and then you have an outer circle of people. So those inner circle of friends are what contribute to your personality. So in other words, if you are with people that are not motivated, low education, do drugs, smoke, and you're trying to break out of that, then what you have to do is assess that situation and see how you can change that situation. I'm not saying alleviate or alienate those people, but the issue becomes you have to limit that contact with people. For instance, if, for in my case, I would not date somebody that's a high school dropout or a high school education because the point would be there would be this distance of not a personality conflict or whatever because it would not connect with my personality. So there's an old saying, if you ever watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Indiana Jones is crossing the bridge to get to the crystal, and there's a knight sitting there, and he says, "Choose wisely." And I always say, you have to choose wisely your friends. So, for instance, someone reached out to me and said, "Well, can you help me do this or not? I'd like to be your friend." And it turned out to be they smoked, they didn't have a college education, etc. Not very bright. So the point was out of that. And like I said I will help you, but I cannot consider you a friend because you're then not the type of person that I would hang out with. Because in essence, and I'm trying not to use that word as much, but or that phrase. The point is, you have to consider who you are. There's always that old saying, a dog that hangs out on the porch and catches fleas. I don't know the phrase of it, that type of thing. But and we attract what we like. So, and we've heard of this saying, laws of attraction. And the laws of attractions are we're comfort around people that we attract. So, in essence, what we attract are people like that. So, in other words, there's a saying that Lincoln said that he kept his enemies close and his friends apart, and that's somewhat a thing that it was a way for him, to keep the Civil War, but know what people were thinking. But on the other hand, the issue that he was doing is you keep your closest advisors to you, and not necessarily, people that you don't trust or whatever. But that was his one saying about, because of the Civil War, which I necessarily don't agree with. My gut feeling is that his point was that his people he trusted the most, such as Grant, because there was always people, for instance, on Grant, was always getting, saying he's not a great general and all that, and then he drinks too much, blah, blah, blah. And like one of Lincoln's comments was, well, at least he fights. So the point here is you collect, or you have to assess who those 5 people are that are closer to your life. I did a video about this somewhat months ago, but there was an incident that occurred on the bus where 2 women started fighting, and I was thinking, the one had a warrant out for arrest, waiting for the police chief. So it's too much trouble, not police, but the police to get there. But the issue was, I was just taking this all in as a psychologist. And the other one I could tell was like halfway drunk. I could smell it on her breath. And I would just sit there and I was trying to keep the peace there, or keep the situation. But the point is, they were attracted to each other because what they were doing is there's that bond there of low self-esteem, low motivation, dependent on drugs. The one had other issues as well. So those are the type of things people get attracted to. So the point is that, like I said, with the Indiana, you have to choose wisely. Like I said, for example, I have to choose wisely who I keep in that inner circle, and I always call it what is called the it factor. In other words, they have that person as being an older adult that's still single. I have to say whether this person has that it factor or not, and somebody that I can, because there's things I want to do. I want to achieve in life. I'm still writing. I want to teach on a part-time basis, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, that is the thing I want to do about that. So anyway, folks, I'll talk to you later and have a great day. Bye.